now the Labour Party presidential candidate, Peter Obi, has officially unveiled Yusuf Datti Baba-Ahmed as his running mate for the 2023 elections. Now, Mr. Obi said Mr. Baba-Ahmed was eminently qualified to bring his private sector and academic achievements to bear in the drive to rescue Nigeria from the primitive politics of ethnicity. He also added that the party will anchor its manifesto in the coming days on the 17 goals of Sustainable Development Goals. Mr. Baba-Ahmed is also the proprietor of Baze University in the nation's capital, Abuja, and one-time senator representing Kaduna North in the National Assembly. Let's have this conversation now in the studios. On this the choice of Peter Obi. In the studios here we have a legal practitioner and social development advocate, Olutowosun Moshifowora. Thank you so much, Barrister, for coming on the show this morning.
Good morning, my pleasure.
And of course, virtually, we have from Port Harcourt, the River State capital, we have someone from the Peter Obi movement, Nesta Komolafe. Thank you so much, Nesta, for joining us on the show this morning. We'll come to you very, very shortly. Barrister, perhaps we should begin the conversation with you here. Baba-Ahmed as the running mate to Mr. Peter Obi, not so much of a controversial name, is he?
No, he's not. He's not. He's what you term the good guy. And, you know, I mean, what people try to put forward as he's a good guy. They tell you, no certificate issues, no this, no that, you know, some of the things you see with other candidates. But for me, is how much of an electoral value is he bringing to the table? You know, I heard him talk about, I saw his interview with BBC. He said that he doesn't want to be classified as coming from the Northwest or something. He just wants to be classified as someone coming from the private sector. And I know that there's more to classification than just what you have done in the private sector. We're talking politics. You're coming to a terrain that he's not unfamiliar with the terrain. But if you see his movement and the movement of the flag bearer, you see them, they moved from one place to the other. You know, to me, they look desperate. And I'm always scared of people who are desperate for power. Over time, we've seen that they don't turn out to be the best that the country wants. So for his achievements in the private sector, there's no doubt about that. But for me, I've looked at his trajectory politically, and I'm not very convinced that he's going to bring to the table what the country really wants. That's my own position.
Well, shall we ask him?
Yeah.
Mr.
Komolafe.
Komolafe, can you hear me?
I hear you. Thank you, and good morning for having me.
Yes, people have said some good things about Datti Baba-Ahmed, but some people have tried to ask is whether Baba-Ahmed is not, though they say he's done well in business and all of that, is probably a beneficiary of a family business, the family money. That it's not that he worked any hard, that the Baba-Ahmed family who came from Mauritania, that's another issue, that the man just, it's not that he worked very hard, it's like a good boy in a good family, they put him in big place and now he's saying that he has achieved much.
All right, thank you so much. Well, my first response is that your guest, let me counter what you said about Peter Obi and Datti Baba-Ahmed being desperate. We are the people that are desperate. It is the Nigerians that are desperate. Look, the Peter Obi movement was not formed by Peter Obi himself. This movement is organic. It is people-oriented. It is citizens-oriented. It is what I call silent majority-oriented. The silent majorities that have been so silent for so long, they are no longer silent, and they don't want to be silenced. And that's why you see the enormous tumultuous support we are seeing all over the country. Let me tell you, an average politician will always speak bad about Peter Obi and whatsoever. Is there any politician in Nigeria today that is not envious of the momentous, tumultuous support Peter Obi is gathering without paying them? We are people that are supporting ourselves. We have formed clusters of support groups all over the country. average politician in this country would like to have such support, but they are not getting it. And that's why you see all of them running helter-skelter, saying all sorts of things about Peter Obi. Peter Obi is not the issue. Nigeria is the issue. Let them face us. Let them talk about people who are supporting Peter Obi, people who have been impoverished for so long. In my over 50 years in this country, I have never seen this bad. I have never. So the Peter Obi movement is for the unborn Nigerians, the present Nigerians, and the coming and the future Nigerians, our children. So let nobody parrot desperation on the part of Peter Obi. We are the people that are desperate to leave this poverty that the Buhari administration has so put on us. I mean, we need to put our destinies in our own hands right now. And that's why you see some people saying, let's take back Nigeria. So it is not only youth driven. I'm over 50 years. So there are so many people in my age bracket that are so pissed off with what is going on in this country. It has never been this bad. So let me talk about Datti Baba-Ahmed. Look, it is time for Nigerians to have what I personally call CEO-minded people. We need people who are CEO-minded to run affairs of this country. President Buhari is not CEO-minded. ASU is on strike. Has he said anything? And look at what happened in Kuje. Not to talk about the past negative things that have happened in this country. Has he been talking to people? Is that the kind of leader we want for the future children of this country? Come on, enough is enough. So let any politician that is talking about stop it. Let them be talking about us, the people that are driving the movement. So we are ready to engage them in issue-based debate. And look at your guests. Has he said anything about issues? He's just talking about Peter Obi is this, Datti Ahmed is this. That's not the issue.
Thank you very much.
We want people that will be talking about issues. Let's talk about ASU. Let's talk about Kuje prison. Why have they not arrested anybody till today? Let's talk about those issues and they stop talking about people, about things that are not matter.
Thank you. Now that's one of the questions I really want you to address. You know, people talk about. He said that Peter is not about Peter Obi. Is it the followers without leadership? Is that what it is?
No disrespect to the movement, and it's an appreciable movement, and they feel they are entitled to their own opinion as well. But you see, sometimes I look at this thing and it reminds me of the Arab Spring.
Yes.
You know, that's how the whole thing started.
Yes.
Now, you know, I see a lot of bullying on the part of these people. Yeah. They come at you, they come at your candidate. And I wonder, this is not how Nigeria is going to move forward. You say you're desperate. Desperation is not always the best position in situations like this. You said Nigerians are desperate. Then you see all this social media buzz that they all feel that it will translate into electoral value. It's well, on the day of election, I guess we'll be in a better position to remind ourselves that. Yeah. But you see, the fact is this: if we come to issues, all right, there are other candidates who have put up, you know, better appearance, better things on the table. But you just feel because all of you are shouting, all of you are making noise, then we are the main people, we are the only ones suffering. It's unfortunate that this administration hasn't really done well. And that's why you expect earnings from different quarters. But that does not mean that your candidate is the best thing after sliced bread. No. There are other people who are grounded. There are other people who are tested and trusted in this game who can even perform better than. But you think that making noise over social media, coming on TV and castigating other people, that's not the way to go about this thing.
All right. Mr. Nesta, I would like to take you up on some issues that has been happening on the new media or social media. This issue of cyberbullying, I'd like you to respond to that because Barrister has raised that. In fact, I've been following the trends on Twitter. How do you respond to the fact that the obedience movement has taken this issue of cyberbullying to the next level? In fact, the likes of Reno Mokri has witnessed it. He has come out openly to even express fears for his life and that of his family. I wonder how you respond to that.
I have witnessed it a lot myself.
So I wonder how you're going to respond to this issue of cyberbullying.
Okay, thank you so much for this opportunity to give my insight into the cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is not the best. I am not in support of cyberbullying, but I'm not justifying cyberbullying. Why is it now that everybody is talking about cyberbullying? Have you forgotten what they did in 2007? Have you forgotten what they did in 2011? Have you forgotten what they did in 2014, the Buharists? Have you forgotten? Did any one of them talk about cyberbullying? Nobody. So if what is okay then, why is it not okay now? Like I said, I am not justifying cyberbullying, but I see all these comments as diversionary. That is not the issue. Social media will always be bubbling with all sorts of people. Social media is an online community. The way we have people living online that are bullies, so also we have people living, the way we have people living in the physical world that are bullied, that are rude, that are uncouth in their comments. So we have some of them in the social media too. So we cannot paint everybody, the Peter Obi movement with the same brush of few that are cyberbullying. Well, it could be as a result of their anger. Because honestly speaking, I said something earlier on that Nigeria needs a CEO mindset president. If Buhari were to be a president, a CEO in a company, he would have been asked to resign. He has been running this country like a cost center.
All right,
a country that is supposed to be profitable.
We are staying with your party, the Labour Party, and issues around your candidates. Let's not leave the issues. Let me also take you up on something which your vice presidential candidate said while as a senator representing Kaduna State some years back. He has been quoted as saying that members of the LGBTQ should be killed. He had called for the fact that these people should be killed. I wonder if that's also part of... I know that there's a law that prohibits or bans these people in Nigeria, but asking that they should be killed?
Well, I'm hearing it from you for the first time. I've never heard it. So it will be very difficult for me to give response to that because I have not seen it really, and I've not heard him say that. And you are the one telling me now. But if it is true that he said it, I think it's unfortunate. I will not support anybody to be killed. By the way, when President Buhari lost election in 2011, how many people were killed by his supporters? Let your guests there talk about them. The coppers and so many people. What about President Buhari that talk about blood and baboons? Yes. Look, let us forget about all these diversionary tactics.
Well, let's talk about issues. No problem. Right? Let's allow my guests.
Let's talk about issues. This one said. Let's talk about it.
I would like us to stay with the issues and not deviate or digress to.
They are the one that are. Is your guess that is diversionary?
Mr. Nesta, we're absolutely pressed for time. We have to wind down on our conversation with you. But let me also ask you, because they say politics is a game of numbers. Can I ask you, when you look at the north, south, east, and west, where exactly is the strength of Peter Obi? Because I understand that even in the southeast region where he comes from...
We are not going to tell you our strategies. We are not going to tell you... Listen.
That's not a strategy. It's a game of numbers. May I remind you, Mr. Nesta?
I know about all those political calculations about Southwest, and so let me tell you, I thank God that INEC has introduced beavers. All those figures that you'll be seeing up north, that you have millions votes, 2 million votes, I can tell you, you're not going to see it in 2023. Of course, we are aware, we know that there are so many underage voters and so many shenanigans that goes up in the north that the figure somehow is inflated, and perhaps some other part of the country. 2023, by God's grace, the beavers. So after 2023, come and ask me this question. All those figures that we are parading now, that they have 2 million here, 3 million here, 1.5 million, you're not going to see those numbers because beavers will stop them.
All right, so it means you're questioning, maybe you want to respond to what he has just raised, these allegations, and sum it up with the idea of the third force. It's been a recurrent phenomenon. In the build-up to the elections in 2015, in 2013, we had the third force. A lot of parties coming together to form what is now APC, and they eventually won. The coalition or proposed alliance, so to say, which many Nigerians had craved for between the NNPP and the Labour Party, doesn't seem like it's going to work. I wonder if you think just any magic...
They've taken a position, and that's no longer on the table. The card is no longer on the table. NNPP has gone his way, Labour has gone his way, and they've taken their position. Unfortunately, for the guests on the other side and the movement, hope is not a strategy. You have to sit down, and you just talked about how APC came into being. A few people from different places, they came together, worked out the indices, and merged. And at the end of the day, they were able to wrestle power from the ruling party then. Now, this time around, if you think you're going to come up with some Arab Spring kind of thing, even the Arab Spring, we saw how it landed them in the final third, you know. Now, but this is what I'm saying. They have called those people and said, you don't have structures. Sit down and ask people, please, what's the structure? How does it work? They've not taken time to do that.
It's an emotional structure.
Yes, it doesn't work like that. Elections is not by prayers, it's not by emotions. It doesn't work with all those things. It's unfortunate that this administration, I will repeat it, hasn't done its best in securing the lives of Nigerians, in putting the economy in the right shape and all that. And there's a need, I mean, there's that need or that hunger, you know, for change and all that. But I tell you for free that there are better people who are better placed, who are contesting in this same 2023 election than all this movement. And this movement without strategy, it's never going to work. And my fear is this. At the end of the day, if the election doesn't go their way, I pray we don't have some
like
kind
Trump.
of NSAS
Like
or Trump-like situation where if you go away, let's come this thing. You know, they're already referring to Sri Lanka and all those things. We have to be careful. And I think people need to sit down and start educating people and also caution them that you cannot throw this country into flames. It's not going to work like that. If you don't win, swallow your win, then go back and sit down and get a strategy. Elections are won. My late dad used to tell me that elections are won and lost at the planning stage.
Yes.
Not with all this hue and cry, not all this emotional
hysteria.
It's not. It's not. It doesn't work like that. They need to sit down and understand how things work. I appreciate the movement. It's good. I appreciate the hunger. But they need to sit down and structure things. Things are not done this way. This is not Tunisia. This is not the Arab Spring. This is Nigeria. And things must work well. So if you want to do things, if you want to wrestle, we still have a constitution in place. And if you want to do anything, you have to follow the proper step. Not all this bullying, not all this attacking. It doesn't work this way.
That's hunger without
direction.
Hunger without a strategy for the kitchen is dead.
At the polling units, which you said we have about 13,000 of them in Lagos alone. In Lagos only, we have 13,000. It differs
from state to
state.
Now, so at this polling unit, you need agents who will man this, so that they can actually watch out for your interest and monitor and everything. The interest of the party. Now, so that brings you to the fact that a party that is serious, that wants to get its votes counted and well recorded, should have agents positioned in these places. So you're looking at least minimum of 2. Now, so that's 26,000 persons.
In Lagos.
In Lagos for your party by every polling unit. Now, it doesn't go like that with the 36 states. Some have fewer, but let's just put it at, say, 8 for some other states. You need that level of manpower. That's what you call, that's one of the tiny bits of what you refer to as structure. Now, also, we've seen instances where, where you don't have a candidate in other positions. Understand the fact that this is still a country with large level of people who are not very literate. Now, so they just follow whatever anybody tells them. If you don't have anybody representing your interests in a particular position, people will just come and say, this is where you put it. There are aged people. There are young people who don't understand how these things work. Now, so at the end of the day, all these things count.
All right.
When it comes to elections.
Yes, I understand we have Mr. Nestor back with us. Nestor, perhaps we could allow you the time to respond to some of these issues that we have raised.
Right.
And let me also
so
add that while we talk about the issue of structures for your party, the Labour Party, for instance, which has taken advantage of the new or social media, but the common or average Nigerian at the grassroots or the rural areas has no idea what Twitter is about.
Well, it baffles me when I keep hearing people trying to give advice as if people in the movement do not know what to do. I heard your guest talking about polling unit, having this. Who told you that we don't have those things? Do you think we'll just come on TV and be telling you about our strategies? Have you heard about unit-based leadership? In the past, you'll be hearing about words. Have you heard about unit-based? Let me tell you, we're going to have unit leaders, polling unit leaders, unit by unit all over the country. Has any political party in the past done that? So I told you earlier on, we're not here to be revealing our strategies. So leave that one for us. Don't give us any advice. Let me also remind your guests that many of the people that are in the movement, they have been members of various political parties that have been so active that they know all these things. So don't just assume that some people just gather themselves together and they don't know what they are doing. I think it's good for them to keep underrating us. They will wait for a shocker. We are going to shock them with our votes. They've been saying we do not have structures. Let's meet at the ballot. Then they will know that we have structures.
Can I also ask you, Mr. Nestor, the emergence of Peter Obi, if eventually he becomes Mr. President, if eventually, will that put an end to the crisis, the agitations, the tensions in the Southeast region?
Well, all I know is that Peter Obi and Datti Baba-Ahmed are cerebral people who understand people's management because they have been CEO in their various companies, and that's what I'm saying. And most of our leaders that have been running this country, how many of them have run a business of their own? How many of them have run a corporate organizations? That's why you see them operating by instinct. They are not management-centered. They are not people-centric. Peter Obi is going to be people-centric. He's going to treat us like customers. Every CEO who want to treat people that comes to do business with him like customer. As any leader in this country treated us like customers. So that's what it's a paradigm shift. So we are looking at someone who will treat us like customers. When we have grievance, he will listen to us. So, and he's going to gather best of brains to resolve this problem. Look, Nigeria's problem is not beyond solution. What we need is people who are sincere. I told you earlier on, they are telling you 300 people were on bike to raid a prison. If 300 bikes are plying Ojo-Elegba Road, it will fill the road. And those 300 people went there, they parked the bike, as I suppose. They went in and do whatever they wanted to do, and they left. And the government up to now has not come out to tell us what actually happened. Is that the kind of leadership you want in a country like this?
Mr. Nestor, you have been a bit evasive with my answers and questions. I was asking, if Mr. Peter Obi eventually becomes the president, if he becomes, will that put an end to the tension, the agitations in the Southeast region? Would that put an end to the attacks we've seen in that part of the country?
Of course, because look, if you speak with a general, he will tell you that war is not ended at the battlefield. War is ended at the round table. Have they called any of the IPOB people to call them for discussion that what are your problems? So that they can discuss with the government and hear them out and find solutions to their problem. Has this present government done that?
They have not. Yeah, but they have, the IPOB people have dissociated themselves from Peter Obi.
Well, excuse me, don't join me. I'm not talking. Honestly, I'm not here to talk about IPOB, and I don't want to join issues with the IPOB. All right, because I'm not an IPOB member, and I don't want to join issue with the issues of IPOB. All I'm telling you is that we need leadership that will discuss with aggrieved people from the north, from the south, from the west, from the east. Conversation, dialogue. That's what we need. All right? What happened in Kuje, if it had happened in Enugu or Abia State, what do you think the military will have done? Have they gone to Kuje now to go and kill people there like they did in the Southeast? So don't let us go into that area, please. Don't let us go into that area at all. So we need a leader that will gather this country. This country is fragile. Peter Obi understands it. And when he gets there, he's going to get people from all parts of this country to sit down at the round table to discuss issues. IPOP, Yoruba, Igboho, and the people in the north, they will all discuss together and find solution to this problem. So this problem is solvable. It is because the present government is hiding behind more fingers, thinking that the talking heads in the Aso Rock, when issue comes up, will douse the tension. No, it's not going to help. The president himself has not taken time to address the nation, to assuage the feelings of the people. What kind of leadership is that? What kind of leadership is that?
All right. I want you to address the issue of...
just before we go, please, very briefly.
Yes, just before we go. You know, he has been talking about bringing a productive economy. But he himself has not done anything in the area, because this guy I'm talking about is being a productive man and a CEO, but he's basically made his money doing imports. And there are other issues about Obi, but just address this issue of he wants to bring a productive economy, but he has not even done anything in terms of
producing.
Well, if we will talk about Obi, we can only allude to what he has done in the past.
Yes.
And one of the things that baffles me, which his supporters sell, is the fact that he was able to save money and put it in a bank for the state whilst he was governor. Now, but have we looked at what bank he put the money in? The same bank where he was chairman?
Yeah, man.
If you try that in saner climes, you will never be here running for presidency.
It was asked in the public.
Yes.
Last time he ran as vice president that he put Anambra money in his family account. And he said he was saving it in his family account for the state. Is that not enough for you not to even make any noise in public?
So, one, if you look at it, the money you're saving, it's good to
save money.
But at the same time, were there things to be done? No, were there things to be done that you didn't do? Was Anambra at its best at that time, infrastructure-wise, that you had to carry money and save? Then now, let's look at where you saved the money. In a place where you're chief executive, that is an aberration. That is not the way to go. Things should not be done. These are things we should look at. So the day he becomes president of Nigeria and he saves money in his bank, then you know that he's done it before, he will do it again.
Apparently, the family account seems the safest.
Yes. Keep it in the family.
Well, that's a good place to anchor our conversation. Thank you so much, legal practitioner and social development advocate Olatubo. So thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
Virtually, we had Mr. Nestor Komolafe of the Peter Obi movement. Thank you so much, Mr. Nestor, for your thoughts.
I thought you would give me a right of reply to what they just said. Because I can see that they are putting Peter Obi on the
we'll have you back. Hopefully, we'll have you back on the program in the build-up to the elections. But thank you so much again, indeed, for your thoughts.